Carl Jung found something that would alter our view of mental warfare forever. He noticed that when a narcissist sees you have become too mindful, too sharp, and too risky to handle, they do not just walk away. Instead, they launch a final frantic move. This is a deep mental trick meant to break your reality and turn your whole world against you. This is not just a small increase in their old ways. It is a total reversal of the truth. It is the last and most toxic strike of a trapped mind born from the fear of being truly known. Jung's work shows that this ultimate move is not a sign of your coming loss, but rather the final clear proof of your mental win. It is the frantic act they use only when they know deep down that you have already succeeded. Within the large map of the human spirit, Carl Jung found a vital part he called the persona. This is the mask we show to others. It is the carefully built set of social roles and traits we think are okay for people to see. For most, the persona is a flexible tool between our inner self and the outside world to help us get along with others. But Jung's look into the minds of very narcissistic people showed a scary difference. For the narcissist, the persona is not a tool. It is a fort. It is not a mask they put on, but the empty statue they worship as their whole identity. Their entire sense of self is stuck to this weak outer build of being better, charming, and perfect. There comes a time, however, in your time with such a person that is as quiet and as shaky as a crack appear, in solid ground. It is the moment you see the truth, not through a fight or an argument, but through simple, clear sight. You see the fear behind the pride, the void behind the big talk, and the scared child moving the handles of a scary machine. In that split second, your sight becomes a mirror, and the image it shows them is not the perfect God of their persona, but the messy, hidden chaos of their real inner state. This is a time of deep mental crisis for the narcissist. The mask, which has kept them safe from their own deep feelings of being worthless, has been made see-through by your awareness. They feel this change not as a simple disagreement, but as a basic threat to their music life. Your clarity is a deadly danger because it proves that their whole identity is a build, a lie. I can no longer make you believe. When you stop playing along with their fake reality, the fort of their persona starts to fall apart, and the person trapped inside panics. It is from this panic that their most sneaky plans are born. They cannot let a mirror like you exist because your clear reflection threatens to force them to face the one thing they have spent their whole lives running from, but it is their own real plain self. They must break the mirror, not because you are their foe, but because you hold a truth they cannot stand to face. Their fight is not really with you. It is a war against being aware, and you have just become its sudden protector. This is the start of the end, the point from which they will start their final, most frantic push. They must put out the light of your awareness to push the world back into the easy dark where their fakes can live. The attack that is coming is not a reaction to something you did, but a reaction to what you have become, someone who can no longer be fooled. You have moved from being a source of what they need to being a threat to their whole mental setup. In the next part, you will find the first small steps in this new war. The scar. Mental scouting the narcissist does when they see their usual ways of control have started to fail. If the path of seeing through lies and taking back your own sight matters to you, make sure to follow this channel. We are focused on looking into the depths of the mind and giving the tools for deep personal change. Carl Jung taught that every person has a shadow, the large hidden space of all the parts of ourselves we have pushed away, denied, and refused to own. It is the home of our secret fears, our hidden shames, and our silent anger. Most people spend their lives working with their shadow, slowly learning to use its lessons. The narcissist, however, does not work with their shadow. They lock it up, deny it, and throw it onto others with great force. They cannot stand to own their own dark side, so they try to see it everywhere, but inside themselves. When you become too risky to handle, you start a deep crisis in this setup. Your strength against their control means you are no longer a quiet screen for their projections. Their shadow, which they use to dump on you, starts to bounce back toward them. And this is a fear they cannot handle. This starts what Jung's work calls the fur. Part of their final push, the testing stage. This is not a set of random pokes, but a very planned, though often hidden form of mental scouting. The narcissist starts to poke at your limits with scary focus. These are not the big, loud attacks that might come later. They are small, almost hidden tests meant to find the tiny cracks in your new strength. They are looking for what Jung might call mental weak spots, the old emotional paths where their control once moved easily. They might give a backhanded remark that sounds like a compliment but feels like a bite. They might slightly change a past story to see if you will still take their version of the truth over your own memory. They might act like they are hurt to test if they can still grab your care and pull you back into the role of fixing their fake pain. Every one of these tests is a soft sound from their shadow. It is a try to see if their darkness can still live inside you. They watch your reactions as closely as a hunter. They are not listening to your words, but are feeling the energy behind them. Do you answer with a calm, detached mind, or is there a small spark of the old self-doubt? Music, do you keep your limits with? Quiet strength, or do you explain too much and try to justify yourself? If you do that, you show a continuing need for their approval. Jung knew that this part is vital. If you successfully and always turn down these first pokes, you do not just pass a test and find peace. Instead, you prove their biggest fear. You have truly changed. You have shut the doors they once used to poison your spirit. Be standing firm. You have officially shown yourself to be a major threat. You have proven that you no longer play their mental games. Knowing this does not make them respect you. It scares them. It shows that their main ways of defending themselves are failing. The narcissist is now doing what could be called mental mapping. They are looking at the walls of a fort they once walked into for free. They are checking the strength of your walls, the depth of your moat, and the sharpness of your new sight. Everything they learn now is not used to fix things, but to plan a much bigger and more painful attack. Your strength does not stop them. It forces them to move their plan from small tricks to full-scale mental war. I would love to hear about your own path to waking up. Have you ever felt that? Scary moment when you calmly stood up to a trick and felt a big shift in the room, like a silent start to a new kind of war? If so, write the word clarity in the comments to join others who know this deep and often lonely moment of change. In the next part, you will see what happens when this scouting ends and the narcissist, realizing their small tricks are useless, lets out the full power of their anger in a scary stage of growth. The war for reality. When the narcissist's small pokes and tests break against the calm wall of your solid mind, a deep mental shift happens inside them. Carl Jung talked about a rule where anything taken to its limit will eventually flip into its opposite. For the narcissist, whose whole life is an extreme shield against feeling weak, the loss of power over you starts a violent swing into what Jung's work calls make-up behavior. They do not take the loss. They try too hard to fix their failing power by becoming very mean in their tries to get it back. This is the growth stage, and it is a mental storm meant to wear down your sanity and break your spirit under constant pressure. This is the point where tricks turn into open mental war. The narcissist's ways become stronger more often and more bold. The gaslighting, which was once a small twist of the truth, now becomes a direct hit on your sanity. They will flatly deny things you both know happened, make up talks that never took place, and claim your memories are just signs of being sick or mean. They do this not just to make you doubt one event, but to make you doubt the very tool you use to see the world, your own mind. Jung knew that a person who does not trust their own mind becomes very easy to move and control. They are trying to cut the link to your own gut feeling, the very source of the power that made you a threat to them. At the same time, their use of projection grows to a wild level. The shadow they can no longer put in you without you knowing is now thrown at you with full force. Every bad trait they have and every mean thing they do is now blamed on you. They will call you the mean one, the bully, the selfish one. This is more than a simple shield. It is a plan to try to create a cloud of confusion so thick that you start to doubt your own heart. They are trying to remake you in the image of their own shadow, to force you to wear the mask of their darkness so they can keep seeing themselves as good people. It is during this scary time that the narcissist often shows the true depth of their bad nature by getting others to join their fight. Jung noted that some people, when scared, will naturally try to form a crowd to back up their twisted reality through the agreement of others. The narcissist will start to sign up what are often called flying monkeys. They will tell carefully made stories of your supposed wrongs to friends, family, or co-workers, acting like the hurt and worried party. They are experts at finding and using the kindness of others, turning good people into accidental weapons in their war against you. This is a complex and painful plan because it hits not just your reality but your social life. It is meant to leave you alone, to make you feel like you are the only unstable person in a world of logical people who have all seen who you really are. The goal of this growing storm is to create a mental world so mean and confusing that you break under the load and go back to doing what they say just to make the mess stop. In the next part, you will find the scary moment of truth when the narcissist finally sees that even this huge attack has failed. And you will see what happens when this news pushes them past their limit into a state of deep shame, starting the one final dirty trick that Jung warned could be the most painful of all. There comes a time in this mental war when the narcissist's growing storm of anger, lies, and blame fails to hit the mark. Your anchor holds fast, and your calm refusal to break shows their storm to be nothing more than a small fuss in a tiny cup, a messy display of weak rage. For the narcissist, this is not just a simple loss. It is a moment where they feel their whole existence is being wiped out. This is the final clear proof that they have totally lost all power over you and over the reality they so badly need to control. This realization, based on the deep ideas of Jung, pushes them into a state of total mental terror known as narcissistic shame. It is not just a wound to their ego, it is a death of the spirit. Music, the empty god they built as their identity, is broken. Through the cracks, they are forced into a scary closeness with the huge, screaming emptiness they have spent their whole lives running from. This is the ultimate disaster for them because it shows their deep feelings of woe, earthlessness, not as a far-off threat, but as the very ground they stand on. It is from the bottom of this shame, from the center of this spirit death, that they let loose their final and most evil weapon. This is not just another trick in their book. It is a total remake of the game itself. It is the master plan, the grand twisted miracle of their fake theater. when a narcissist can no longer control you, they try what Jung's work calls a total mental flip. This is not just lying or changing the story. It is a frantic, messy try at a form of mental magic. They try to flip the entire moral reality of your bond upside down. In this final scary act, the music narcissist, who has been the attacker, the trickster, and the source of mental poison, very carefully and with total belief puts themselves in the role of the innocent, hurt victim. And you, the one who has survived the storm, kept your sanity, and stood through the constant hits, are painted as the mean, unstable, and hateful attacker. This is not a simple lie told to others. It is a new reality they are trying to bring to life. It is a false belief they must live in to save themselves from the unbearable truth of their own inner void. This great flip is the ultimate form of what Jung called shadow projection. Throughout the time you knew them, they put their own hidden flaws and darkness onto you. Now, in their state of collapse, they are not just throwing a few traits. They are trying a total mental dump. They are trying to take the whole of their unbearable shame, their broken ego, and their burning embarrassment and move into your soul. They want to make you the living image of their own failure. Every limit you set is changed after the fact into an act of planned cruelty. Your moments of self-respect are rewritten as signs of huge pride. Your refusal to play their mental games is shown as a complex plan of abuse aimed at them. They become the frantic, obsessed storytellers of a past that never happened. They carefully build a story of their long-suffering goodness and your monster-like evil. Their belief in this new reality is what makes it so scary and effective. For in that moment, they are not just acting, they believe their own script with the panic of a drowning person grabbing a piece of a broken ship. What makes this plan so deeply dangerous and strong is that it moves past personal lies and takes over the very flow of human thought. Jung spoke of the shared mind, a common mental inheritance of basic patterns and instincts that all people draw from. Within this deep well are the basic blueprints of the soul, such as the hero, the mother, the trickster, and the victim. These are not just ideas. They are huge groups of mental energy that command our hidden respect and attention. The narcissists, in their final move, commits an act of deep mental insult. They wrap themselves in the holy robes of the victim. The victim is a strong and sacred figure in the human spirit. It is the pattern that calls out our best instincts of kindness, protection, and fairness. When we see a real victim, our very souls are moved to act. The narcissist naturally understands this. They play the role with perfect skill, faking a weakness and sadness that gets past the logical thinking of those around you and speaks straight to their hidden mental wiring. At the same time, they put you in the opposite role, the cold planning bully. This is more than just name-calling. It is a planned act of kicking you out of the mental circle of others. They are trying to put you outside the sacred circle of human kindness. They want to label you as the other so that the group's protective feelings, which should be for you, are turned against you instead. They are taking over the systems of human care and using them as weapons. This is why this last push feels like a cosmic wrong. It is a break of a deep, silent spiritual law. They are using a holy symbol to hide an evil goal, because the world reacts to the symbol I. Instead of the truth, it accidentally helps in this act of ruin. They are not just trying to win a fight, they are trying to control the very heart of your community, turning your friends into a crowd that backs up their lie and leaves you totally alone. The main goal of this big flip goes beyond just leaving you lonely or hurting your name. The real aim is much darker. It is a try at what can only be called the murder of the soul. The narcissist's final wish is not just for you to be by yourself. It is for you to look in the mirror and see the monster they made. They want you to get so lost in the fog of their reality, so left behind by your community, and so tired from the fight that you finally give up and believe their story as your own. Their goal is to put out the light of your true essence. They want you to doubt your own goodness, your own mind, and your own right to be here. They want you to believe in the deepest part of your heart that you are the bully, that you are the villain, and that you caused all the pain. It is the last frantic act of a dying mind trying to take you down with it. Music, it is mental terror of the highest level. It is meant not just to keep you quiet, but to kill your link to your own soul, leaving you as a hollow sound in a world they have fully remade. In the next part, you will see the exact ways they carry out this painful smear campaign. From the sneaky way they hide lies inside truths to the steady killing of your good name, you will see why their lies can feel so scary and real to others. The theater of deception, the great flip where he narcissist acts like the victim and makes you the attacker, is not done with the clumsy, easy lies of a normal liar. It is a masterpiece of mental trickery. It is a planned and very strong smear campaign built on a deep gut feeling of how the human mind can be hurt. Carl Jung's work showed that narcissists are often experts at moving group thought, and their final fight against you is their big, sad show. They do not just yell lies from the roof. They build a complex mental theater with a carefully made script, a fake and evil version of you, and a show so strong it can turn your own friends into helpers who do not know what they are doing. To understand this is to know why their lies can feel so scary and real to others, and music, why this part of the hit can feel so lonely. The base of this whole theater is the script itself, and its smarts lie in how real it sounds. The narcissist rarely starts their fight with a huge lie that is easy to prove wrong. Instead, they use a method that can be called truth sandwiching. This is a way of mixing threads of real facts with the poison of their main lie. Jung saw that the human mind has a hard time taking apart info that mixes the true wit. The false. We tend to take a story as a whole package. The narcissist uses this brain flaw with the skill of a master storyteller. They will start their story to a friend, a family member, or a CO worker, not with a blame, but with a series of truths that no one can deny. They will talk about a real event that happened, a real talk that took place, or a true part of who you are. This builds trust. They might start by saying, "You know how strong and intense they can be," which might be totally true. They will continue by placing the story in a real time and place. We were talking last Tuesday right after that stressful meeting. Only when this base of truth is set and the listener's mind is ready to agree is the poison added. Tucked neatly between these true facts is the main lie. And they said something to me so cold, so mean that it has left me questioning everything. The listener's brain, having already said yes to the true parts of the story, is now ready to swallow the whole thing, including the fake poison in the middle. This trick turns off the listener's ability to judge. It skips logic and speaks straight to the mind's natural want for a story to make sense. By time the main lie is told, it does not feel like a lie. It feels like the missing piece of a puzzle the narcissist has helped put together. This is not just lying. It is the planned build of a story that sounds real, a base of trust upon which they will kill your good name. Once the script is ready, the narcissist turns to the scary art of character killing. Jung taught that the deepest mental Attacks are not those that hit what we do, but those that hit who we are at our core. The narcissist does not just find fault with your actions. They start a steady plan to redefine who you are. They perform a dark magic on your best traits, twisting them in the eyes of others until they look like terrible flaws. This is a very personal and mentally violent act. If you are a person who stands on why, our own, they will not show you as capable. They will paint you as selfish, cold, and unable to be a real partner. If you have natural confidence and a healthy sense of self-worth, they will carefully reframe it as pride, a sense of being better than others, and a pushy need for control. If you are thoughtful and keep to yourself, they will show you as secretive, cold, and dishonest. Most cruel, if you have finally learned to set healthy, life-improving boundaries, they will blame you for being mean, controlling, and mentally abusive. This method is very effective because, like the truth sandwich, it holds a small, twisted grain of truth. Every good human trait has a potential dark side when taken to an unhealthy extreme. The narcissist uses this tiny detail to create a gross cartoon of you. That is both scary and slightly recognizable. This sneaky likeness is what makes the character killing so believable to those who do not know you well and so confusing to you. It is an attack meant to make you doubt your own heart, to make you ask, is that how I really am? Is my strength actually meanness? They are trying to erase the real you from the minds of others and replace it with this monster, or like statue. It is the act of a mental vandal spray, painting their own shadow over the picture of your soul, so that when the world looks at you, they see only the narcissist's darkness looking back. Finally, with the script written and the evil character set, the narcissist takes the stage for their big show. Their delivery is the final, vital part that makes the whole trick work. They do not show their case with rage or force, for that would show their true self. Instead, they act out the role of the martyr, the kind soul who has been deeply hurt. They will show themselves to others not with anger, but with a mask of deep sadness, of confused pain, and of a strong worry for your supposed mental trouble. This planned show of weakness is a smart move. It is meant to turn on the rescuer and protector roles in the kind people they have picked as their audience. Their show skips logic and speaks straight to the best instincts of good people, turning their kindness into an accidental weapon against you. They create a mental theater where they are the sad, misunderstood hero and you are the strange villain. By doing this, they create a group of supporters who feel good and protective for Sid. With them, making it almost impossible for your true story to break through their wall of self-righteous belief. They have successfully taken over the public story. In this controlled story, every try you make to defend yourself is seen not as a plea for truth, but as more proof of the very meanness they have blamed you for. The theater has become reality, and you have been pushed out, left to stand alone in the silence that follows the audience's applause. In the next part, you will find the scary inner experience of being on the receiving end of this mental hit, and how the narcissist uses tactics like brain overload and mental terror, not just to hurt you, but to cause a state of total spirit collapse. Surviving the mental hit. Being the target of a narcissist's music, final flipped, C. And pain is an experience that goes beyond normal mental stress. It is not like surviving a storm. It is like being placed in the middle of a hot fire. The heat is a constant heavy pressure meant to melt the very base of your reality, to undo your sense of self, and to turn your spirit to ash. Carl Jung's work shows the deep truth that this hit, while born of another's shadow, is not just a series. of random mean acts. It is a planned mental process built to cause a total collapse of the spirit. The narcissist, having failed to control what you do, now tries to pull apart the base of who you are, your ability to think, to feel, and to trust your own mind. Yet, what Jung's wisdom also shows is that this fire meant for your ruin holds a scary and sacred double nature, for the very same flames that can melt lead into a shapeless puddle are the ones that can clean gold from worthless rock. This hit is a test, and while its heat is hard to take, it is also the spark for the deepest cleaning you will ever go through. It burns away everything that is not your true, strong, real self. The first stage of this process is a fall into darkness, a forced breaking of the self. It starts with the P, land use of brain overload. This is more than just feeling like you have too much info. It is the feeling of your own mind becoming a strange and mean place. The narcissist hits you from every side, creating a messy noise of mental attacks. You are fighting the public fight of their smear campaign, feeling the private pain of their betrayal, and struggling with the inner horror of their lies. Yo. Our mind is forced to hold many things that don't match up at once. Your memory of an event versus their loud denial of it. Your knowledge of your own heart versus the monster they are drawing for the world. Your love for the person you thought they were versus the scary truth of the person they have shown themselves to be. This is not a battle of brains. It is a siege on your ability to process things. Jung knew that the mind, when pushed by such a constant flow of clashing emotional data, will eventually start to crack. Your thoughts become messy. Your memory feels full of holes and shaky. Your ability to make clear choices disappears. This is the goal. They want to cut your trust in your own mind. For a person who cannot trust what they see become totally dependent on the reality told to them by someone else. They are trying to make you a stranger within the borders of your own thoughts. Within this confusing fog, they tighten the invisible chains of the trauma bond. This mental tie, built in the rocky cycle of their abuse and kindness, becomes a form of mental gravity, constantly pulling you back toward the source of your pain. The narcissist knows this with a hunter's instinct. They know that the pain of their smear campaign and the deep loneliness of being left by others create a hole of suffering so big that your body will scream for relief. They place themselves as the only possible source of that comfort. They hold out the silent promise that if you just give in, the pain might stop. If you just give in, if you just return end to the role they gave you, if you just accept their flip story, the pain will stop. This is the ultimate way they use your own survival instincts against you. Your brain, in its frantic search for safety, begins to see the person causing your pain as your only savior. It is a terrible inner fight, a war inside your own mind that keeps you tied to your abuser even when you know they are poison. This sets the stage for their most personal and cruel plan, which is emotional terror. This is the planned and calculated use of mental pain, meant to break your spirit from the inside out. The narcissist uses the private knowledge of your inner world that you once gave them in trust and turns it into a weapon. Your past hurts, your secret fears, and your deepest worries all become tools in their fight. They hit these wounds with perfect focus, knowing exactly which words will hurt most and which lies will trigger your deepest shame. This is the ultimate insult. It is a planned poisoning of your private inner spaces, turning your own history against you. The goal is to make you feel completely broken, to push you so far that the pain is so total you will do anything to make it stop, including giving up your own reality for theirs. This is the darkening, the fall into ash, the moment where it feels like your very core is being dissolved in the acid of their hate. And yet, in the very bottom of this dark time, something amazing can happen. There comes a moment when all fighting stops. Not because you have given up to the narcissist, but because you have accepted that fighting their Dines is useless. You stop trying to talk sense to someone who has none. You stop trying to defend your truth to people who are committed to believing a lie. You stop trying to find logic in their mess. In this moment of deep surrender, the outer battle ends. For the first time, you can turn your full focus inward. It is here in the silent landscape of your spirit that you find something.